Imagine being able to remain calm, steady, and fully composed in the middle of a traffic jam, or while sitting across from your boss during a tense conversation, or even when you are facing a deeply personal crisis that shakes the very ground. Beneath you, this is not a fantasy, it is the very power of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has guided countless individuals for centuries toward living lives that are not only more peaceful, but also more meaningful and fulfilling. Stoicism offers us tools to endure life's storms without losing our inner balance, to navigate difficulties with clarity, and to embrace the beauty of a well-lived life. At the very heart of Stoicism lies one of its most profound truths, the understanding that the only things we can truly command are our own thoughts, choices, and actions. Everything else, the weather, the economy, political events, the rise and fall of nations, and even the behavior of other people remains far beyond our grasp. By accepting this unchanging truth, we liberate ourselves from the constant weight of anxiety and frustration that arises whenever we try to manipulate what is simply not ours to control. This acceptance is not a form of weakness, it is the foundation of strength, for it reclaims our energy and redirects it toward what truly matters, the cultivation of our character and the mastery of our responses. Stoicism reminds us that if we strive to live in alignment with virtue, courage, wisdom, self-discipline, and justice, we can create an enduring sense of peace and fulfillment. This inner calm does not depend on whether life is easy or difficult, whether fortune smiles on us or turns away. It rests on something far more permanent, the unshakable knowledge that we are living rightly, that our actions align with our highest values. In this way, Stoicism builds within us a fortress of tranquility that no external storm can easily break. In this journey, we will explore 10 timeless lessons from Stoicism teachings that can guide you toward inner peace and emotional mastery. These are not abstract concepts locked away in old books, but living principles that you can apply to your modern life. Let us begin. Lesson 1. Embrace what you can control. Epictetus, one of the greatest voices of Stoicism, teaches us a principle that stands as the cornerstone of this philosophy, the dichotomy of control. At its core, this principle divides life into 2 realms: those things that fall under our influence, and those things that lie forever outside it. Understanding this boundary is the first step to living with composure, for once you recognize where your control begins and ends, you stop wasting your energy on what cannot be changed. Epictetus tells us, direct your focus toward what you can. Control your thoughts, your choices, your actions, your responses. Here lies your true power, your sphere of mastery. To dwell endlessly on matters you cannot control, the economy, the opinions of others, the outcome of your efforts, is to enslave yourself to frustration. To instead invest your strength where it can make a difference is to step into freedom. He gives us the metaphor of the archer. An archer can train with discipline, take aim with precision, and release the arrow with skill. Yet once the arrow leaves the bow, the wind, the target, and countless external factors determine its final course. The archer controls only his preparation and release, not the result. Similarly, we must learn to be content with the effort we give, the virtue we live, and the choices we make, while releasing attachment to outcomes that lie beyond our reach. This is not resignation. It is equanimity, a calm acceptance of life's uncertainty. By embracing the dichotomy of control, we free ourselves from the chains of obsession with results and outcomes. We discover a deep serenity, knowing that we have done our part to the best of our ability, and that the rest belongs to fate, to fortune, to the universe itself. Lesson 2. The power of acceptance. Among the great Stoics, none speaks more powerfully about acceptance than Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor whose private reflections in meditations still guide seekers of wisdom today. He reminds us that life is an unending flow of both triumph and hardship, a symphony of joy and sorrow, success and failure, gain and loss. The wise person does not resist this truth, but embraces it. To accept, in the Stoic sense, is not to surrender or give up, but to live in harmony with the reality of existence. It means acknowledging that certain events, death, change, the behavior of others cannot be bent to our will. To resist them is to struggle like a ship fighting against a relentless current, exhausting ourselves in vain. But to accept them is to move gracefully with the tide, to trust the voyage even when the destination is unknown. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that resistance to the natural order of things only multiplies our suffering. By releasing our attachment to specific outcomes and embracing life's impermanence, we step into a deeper peace. Acceptance becomes a form of courage, the courage to face life as it is, not as we wish it to be. When we cultivate this acceptance, we no longer panic when storms arise, nor do we cling desperately to calm seas. We learn to enjoy the sweetness of success when it comes, but also to endure hardship with grace when it arrives. In this way, acceptance becomes the gateway to true tranquility, the kind that does not waver with the ever-changing circumstances of the world. Lesson 3. Practice mindfulness. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, gives us a practice that has become increasingly vital in our restless modern age. Mindfulness. He reminds us that life only ever exists in the present moment. The past is already gone, a memory we cannot alter, and the future has not yet arrived, remaining uncertain and unpredictable. To waste our energy on either is to abandon the only time we truly possess, the now. Mindfulness, for the Stoics, is the art of inhabiting the present with awareness. It is the antidote to rumination, the endless replaying of past mistakes, or anxiety, the restless imagining of future troubles. By grounding ourselves in the current moment, we reclaim our peace of mind. Seneca emphasizes that mindfulness is not reserved only for extraordinary moments, but applies to the ordinary rhythms of daily life. It means savoring a meal, appreciating the warmth of the sun, listening deeply in conversation, or breathing with awareness. In doing so, we detach ourselves from regrets that haunt us or fears that paralyze us. Through this mindfulness, we create a sanctuary within ourselves. It becomes a bridge that connects us to simplicity and calm. In every breath, in every heartbeat, there is an opportunity to experience life fully. To be mindful is to live not in fragments of yesterday or worries of tomorrow, but in the wholeness of today. Lesson 4. Cultivate resilience. Resilience is another pillar of Stoic philosophy, and Epictetus again guides us in understanding it. To him, adversity is not an enemy but a teacher. It is not a punishment but a tool that shapes and refines us. Just as fire strengthens metal, so too do life's challenges temper the soul. The Stoic does not see hardship as something to flee from, but as an opportunity to grow stronger. Resilience is born when we realize that it is not events themselves that harm us, but our judgments about them. The storms of life cannot break us unless we allow them to. To cultivate resilience is to embrace adversity as a sculptor of character. It is to stand like a mighty oak tree in the midst of the storm unshaken, deeply rooted, enduring. Each difficulty becomes a chance to practice courage, patience, and strength. Through this lens, suffering transforms into growth. Hardship becomes a forge in which our true strength is revealed. And, as Epictetus teaches, by confronting life's trials with fortitude, we emerge not weakened but fortified like steel that has been tempered in the fire, stronger and more enduring than before. Lesson 5. Choose your response. The Stoic view on adversity harmonizes seamlessly with their most cherished belief, the sovereignty of choice. Epictetus, in his profound clarity, urges us not to shrink from challenges with fear, but to confront them with the valor of a warrior. For it is not the storm itself that threatens our peace, but the way we choose to respond to it. And within this sacred choice lies our true freedom. The Stoics teach us that external events, the loss of wealth, the words of others, the shifting winds of fortune, will always remain beyond our dominion. Yet even amidst these uncontrollable forces, one power remains firmly within our grasp: the power to choose how we respond. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, the inner citadel no misfortune can breach. Epictetus reminds us that in the sanctuary of Stoic thought, control does not rest upon external conditions, but within our own soul. It is here, in this inner sanctum, that wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance rise like guiding stars. They illuminate the path forward, showing us that even in the most turbulent circumstances, we may preserve our dignity, our calm, and our composure through the sovereignty of choice. The Stoic approach to response is not passive resignation, it is active mastery. To pause before reacting, to weigh our judgments, and to act with deliberate alignment to virtue is to paint upon the canvas of existence with the brush of freedom. Every moment of adversity becomes an opportunity to exercise our sacred gift, the ability to respond with wisdom instead of folly, with courage instead of fear, with justice instead of selfishness, and with temperance instead of excess. Through this act of conscious choice, we build a fortress of serenity. No insult, no setback, no tragedy can dictate our peace without our consent. In this truth lies the indomitable strength of Stoicism, the realization that while fate governs much, our responses remain sovereign. Within this crucible of choice, we find not only resilience, but the very key to lasting inner peace. Lesson 6. Limit excessive desires. In the great fabric of Stoic wisdom, Seneca's counsel on moderation shines as a thread of gold. He teaches us that the unrestrained pursuit of desires is not freedom but bondage, chaining the soul to endless dissatisfaction. For excessive desires are like stormy seas, forever restless, pulling us from calm into turmoil. At the heart of Stoicism is the recognition that true peace does not come from wealth, fame, or indulgence, but from the mastery of one's desires. The Stoic sage does not condemn pleasure, nor does he reject comfort. Instead, he warns us of the danger of excess, the relentless craving for more than what is necessary. For when our happiness depends on what lies outside us, we live at the mercy of fortune. Seneca counsels us to simplify our longings, to seek only what is requisite for a virtuous and meaningful life. By practicing moderation, we discover a profound truth. Contentment comes not from abundance, but from the wise limitation of desire. When we cease chasing every fleeting indulgence, we uncover the treasure already within USA's heart at rest, a mind at ease. The Stoic practice of curbing excess transforms life from a storm of dissatisfaction into a harbor of peace. Wealth, power, and possessions may come and go, but a soul tempered by moderation remains unshaken. Seneca reminds us that true riches are not found in the accumulation of external treasures, but in the quiet mastery of the self. To limit desires is not to live with less, but to live with greater freedom, freedom from dependence, freedom from restlessness, and freedom from the ceaseless hunger that enslaves the unexamined life. Lesson 7. Be virtuous. Stoicism could be distilled into a single command. It would be this: live in accordance with virtue. For the Stoics, virtue is not an abstract concept. It is the very essence of a life well lived. Wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance form the four unshakable pillars upon which the edifice of Stoic philosophy rests. These are not lofty ideals to admire from afar, but guiding principles to practice daily in thought, word, and deed. Wisdom stands first among them, a lamp that lights the path of discernment. It calls us to understand the world as it truly is, to separate what is fleeting from what is eternal, and to act with clarity rather than confusion. Courage follows, the guardian of our soul's integrity. It is not the absence of fear, but the strength to act rightly, despite it, the will to face suffering, loss, and uncertainty with steadfast resolve. Justice extends outward, urging us to live not only for ourselves, but for the good of all. It demands fairness, honesty, and integrity, reminding us that our lives are intertwined with others, and that true peace is found not in selfish gain, but in righteous action and temperance. The final virtue holds the balance. It counsels moderation, self-restraint, and harmony within the soul. It teaches us to master our desires rather than be mastered by them. Together, these virtues form the compass of Stoic living. They are not occasional ideals, but constant companions, guiding us through triumph and trial alike. To live virtuously is to live in harmony with the natural order of the cosmos, to rise above the chaos of impulse, and to embody the calm composure that Stoicism expresses. In virtue, we discover not only the meaning of life, but also the key to inner serenity. Lesson 8. Understand the transitory nature of life. Among the many lessons Marcus Aurelius left us in his Meditations, Perhaps none is more humbling, more grounding than the recognition of life's fleeting nature. He reminds us that all things, our possessions, our reputations, even our very bodies are transient, passing like shadows across the stage of time. This recognition is not meant to cast us into despair. Instead, it is a source of strength, for by accepting impermanence, we free ourselves from the clutches of attachment. To see life as transitory is to see it truthfully, without illusion. It is to understand that the moments we hold now are precious, precisely because they are temporary. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to look at every day as if it could be our last, not with dread, but with gratitude. Each encounter, each breath, each sunrise becomes a gift. The Stoic does not mourn the brevity of life, but embraces it, using the awareness of mortality as fuel for living virtuously and fully in the present. The transitory nature of life reminds us not to cling desperately to what will inevitably fade. Fame, youth, or even comfort, to focus on what endures, the integrity of our character, the love we share, the virtues we embody. By accepting impermanence, we learn to savor the sweetness of existence without fear of its passing. In this acceptance lies serenity. For if all things are fleeting, then loss becomes natural, change becomes expected, and death itself becomes but a return to the cycle of the cosmos. To live with this awareness is to live free, calm, and at peace, untroubled by the inevitability of life's end. Asterisk. Lesson 9. The value of gratitude. Life, with its moments of joy and its seasons of hardship, is forever shifting. Yet the Stoics teach us that there exists one practice that can anchor us amidst this constant flux: gratitude. Seneca, the Venerable, Stoic philosopher, devoted much of his wisdom to reminding us of the transformative power of thankfulness. For gratitude, he tells us, is not merely a polite gesture or a fleeting sentiment, but a profound lens through which we can view the entirety of existence. To be grateful is to shift our gaze from what we lack to what we already possess. It is to recognize the abundance woven into the fabric of our lives, even when circumstances appear harsh or barren. The Stoic sage sees that blessings do not always come clothed in comfort. Sometimes they arrive disguised as trials that refine our character and deepen our resilience. Gratitude thus becomes not only a response to joy, but a steadfast companion in times of difficulty. Seneca reminds us that gratitude is not measured by the size of our possessions, but by the clarity of our perception. A person who learns to be thankful for the simple gift of a sunrise, the loyalty of a friend, or the lessons carried by hardship, possesses a treasure far greater than gold. To practice gratitude is to release ourselves from the endless hunger of desire and to find peace in the richness of the present moment. In this way, gratitude becomes an elixir of the soul. It transmutes despair into contentment, scarcity into sufficiency, and trials into teachers. The Stoic heart steeped in gratitude does not collapse under the weight of adversity, but draws strength from it, knowing that even hardship carries seeds of wisdom. Seneca's legacy calls us to cherish life, not in spite of its challenges, but because of them. For it is within both the gentle joys and the fiercest storms that gratitude reveals its light. Each breath, each heartbeat, each fleeting instant becomes an opportunity to whisper a silent thank you to the universe. By practicing gratitude, we discover a peace that no storm can extinguish, serenity that grows deeper the more we choose to see life through thankful eyes. Lesson 10. Keep learning and growing. The final lesson of Stoicism carries us into an endless horizon, the call to keep learning and keep growing. Epictetus, whose words echo across the ages, reminds us that life is not a fixed state, but a perpetual journey of becoming. To live as a Stoic is to recognize that we are vessels of untapped potential, ever capable of refinement, ever capable of transformation. The Stoics did not seek perfection, for they knew perfection lies beyond human grasp. Instead, they sought progressive, steady ascent, one step after another, toward wisdom and virtue. Each day, no matter how small the effort, is an opportunity to grow in understanding, to strengthen character, and to draw closer to tranquility. Epictetus urges us to treat wisdom as the most precious of treasures, worthy of pursuit above all else. For wisdom becomes our compass, guiding us through confusion, uncertainty, and adversity. It is wisdom that allows us to face hardship with resilience, to choose our responses with clarity, and to live harmoniously with the natural order of the cosmos. To embrace lifelong learning is to accept that there is no final destination, an endless odyssey of becoming better, wiser, calmer, and more courageous. Every trial becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes a stepping stone. Every experience, pleasant or painful, becomes a teacher shaping us into stronger souls. In this light, growth is not a burden but a gift. It is the quiet assurance that we are never trapped in who we are today, but always capable of reaching for who we might become tomorrow. The Stoic commitment to self-improvement transforms even adversity into opportunity, reminding us that storms do not merely batter us, they shape us. To keep learning and growing is to hold fast to the Stoic truth that while the world outside may remain unpredictable, our inner world can become an unshakable fortress of peace. Each step in this journey of growth strengthens the foundation of that fortress, until no storm can penetrate it. As Epictetus whispers through time, the journey is not about arriving at perfection, but about honoring the process of becoming too. Keep learning, to keep growing, to keep striving for virtue. This is the heartbeat of Stoicism. And in that heartbeat lies the promise of inner calm, unyielding composure, and a life lived in harmony with wisdom. Closing reflection. In a world filled with distractions, uncertainties, and ceaseless noise, the wisdom of Stoicism remains timeless. Its teachings remind us that peace is not found in external circumstances, but cultivated within. By embracing these 10 lessons, control, acceptance, mindfulness, resilience, choice, moderation, virtue, impermanence, gratitude, and growth, we are equipped to face life with clarity and strength. Stoicism does not promise us a life free of storms. Rather, it offers us an anchor, the assurance that through wisdom, virtue, and self-mastery, we can remain calm amidst the fiercest winds. To live as a Stoic is to live in harmony with the eternal rhythm of the cosmos, to stand firm in virtue, and to embrace life in all its fleeting beauty with an unshakable heart.